Hi everyone, before we get into the video I just want to let you all know that I'm sick at the moment. I have bronchitis and I've been coughing my lungs up and I've been coughing up other bits and pieces too, so I sound pretty horrific. If this is going to bother you, then this video is probably not going to be for you, but if you can somehow tolerate the nastiness that is currently me, then you should be fine. I have no idea what I just said. I'm fine, I'm just a little delirious. Shall we start? Cool. Greetings everyone, and welcome back to another installment in the iWish series, a series in which I investigate rather dubious tech products sold on various sites around the web just to see if they're any good. Most of the time they are not, but I like to buy this stuff so you don't have to. And I have something that I think all of you might be really excited to see. I'm finally going to be taking a look at some strange oddball iPhone 15 Pro Max clone thing from AliExpress. It's got a very strange name, it's got very questionable specifications, but I'm here to see if the specifications are true or if they're all false. Most likely they're going to be all false, but we'll see how we go during this video. This was found on a live stream I held probably a month and a half ago, maybe longer, and you folks generously donated to see this thing reviewed on the channel. So a massive thank you to all the folks displayed on screen for your amazing generosity, for donating towards seeing more cheapo garbage and reviewed on the channel. I really do appreciate it, as always. Thank you all so much for doing what you do. It does mean a lot to me, and I hope I can deliver an in-depth review and look at this silly iPhone clone thing that's only about $100 Australian, which might be good for the money, or it could be a waste of money. It's probably a waste of money, but we'll see what happens during this rather long rambly review, which if you don't want to sit around for the whole rambly review, feel free to use the timestamps in the description as well as the pinned comment so you can skip along to wherever you need to be, because my videos are rambly and stupidly long. I really need to cut down the videos just ever so slightly. And the listing of the thing we're going to be having a look at today is the VERYHDSN JDLE8 4G smartphone, Android 12, quad-core 7-inch cell mobile telephone, 8000 mAh battery, 13 megapixel camera, dual SIM standby. And currently this is only $104 Australian on AliExpress with free shipping for the 3GB RAM and 64GB storage option, which I'll display SMOOREZ's inaccurate Jank currency conversion chart on screen, so it gives you a rough idea of how much this costs in certain places of the world. This currency conversion chart's going to take up the whole screen one day, but let's just stick with the ones listed for now, so it gives most people an idea of how much this is worth in all different areas of the world. But for $104, you get this weird looking iPhone 15 Pro Max clone, and straight off the bat, it's called a class core JDLE8. Not a VERYHDSN, so just agree with that one. There's a lot of confusing things about the listing, and I'm going to be going through the listing, but if you do want to skip the listing, I'll put a timestamp on screen right now so you can skip straight to the unboxing. The CPU says that it's an MT6737-4 quad core, so it's a 4th generation MediaTek, or is it 4 quad cores? Confusing. It's not confusing, it's just a silly typo. 4GB RAM, 64GB of ROM, supposedly, 8000 mAh big battery, Android OS 12.0, 8 megapixel front camera, plus 13 megapixel rear camera, then it says 3G plus 64GB, because that's the option I chose. You can go with 4GB and 64GB, but that was an extra $14, and I have a feeling these specifications are going to be correct anyways. But let's continue on. Now, going to the description, we do have a couple of things listed, like it being a 4G smartphone, running Android 12, quad-core, 7-inch full screen, 8000 mAh battery, 13 megapixel camera. But then if we move to the next bit of the description, it says report item suspicious activity, which is really odd that that's there. And while I'm here, don't buy these cheapo phones off AliExpress and Wish and all that sort of stuff. Stick with reputable companies, but just do some research before you commit to purchasing a device off AliExpress, because these knockoffs are all over the place. Look, some people may think they're the real deal, but I think most of you won't fall for this thing. We've got dual cameras, quad-core processor, high memory capacity, large display size, high storage capacity. Didn't I already say that? No, high memory capacity. Here's where things get a bit confusing. JDLE8 new smartphone. Okay, smartphone. VERYHDSN new JDLE8 Android 12 tablet GMS certification. VERYHDSN 10-inch tablet is equipped with the new generation operating system Android 12 in quotes. VERYHDSN screen and dual speakers. The new Android 12 smartphone has a high resolution of 2520 by 3088 with a wide viewing angle and good color reproduction. VERYHDSN, the VERYHDSN smartphone is equipped with an 8000 mAh large battery capacity and a USB Type-C plus Type-C headphone jack, which can meet various needs. Is this all making sense so far? Because then we've got VERYHDSN 3/4 gig RAM plus 64 gig plus 32 gig/64 gig TF card, VERYHDSN smartphone support 3/4 gig RAM. The quad-core CPU is equipped with high performance, achieving smooth and stable processing as well as clear and fast operation. Now, are we on the same level of confusion? Because at the moment, what have I purchased? Have I purchased a smartphone? Have I purchased a tablet? I've purchased a smartphone because I've got the box in front of me, but it's just a very confusing listing. Then it gets even more confusing because we then have parameter information, which says the model is smartphone JDLE8 new. You're going to have to count how many times I say VERYHDSN and JDLE8. The processor is a Rockchip MTK6580 quad-core system on chip. Now, for all you folks out there, MediaTek are the folks behind the almighty beloved MT6580. Not Rockchip. Then the frequencies, it says up to 120 Hz. I think they mean the refresh rate on the screen, not the processor running at 120 Hz. Then OS, RAM, storage, display size, and number of cores is all what we know so far. Then we have some pictures. So here is a better look at the device, which once again, looking very iPhone looking, does have a dynamic island, which would probably just be a black piece underneath the screen. That doesn't serve any other function. We do have all of these specifications to the side saying it does have fingerprint unlock. That'll be just usual fake fingerprint where you can use your nose to unlock it or your leg or something, whatever works with you. 7-inch HD plus screen, a shockingly large field of vision. Enjoy life with a big screen thanks to i15 Pro Max 7-inch Full HD plus display, perfect for everything from watching videos to browsing social media, with a 90% DCI wide gamut, 2520p resolution, and 90.61% full screen. Even though the picture that you see on screen is showing that it's a completely bezel-less display. So I wonder how much of what they've just said here is correct, or at this point in time, anything that they've said in the listing is actually correct or not. Here's something really interesting. This is one of the reasons why we all decided that this was something worth purchasing, is because this is actually advertising 3 rear cameras. And at this point in time, I don't know if this is a welcome device or not. It probably is. I've probably already spoiled it in the thumbnail or title, but supposedly we've got a 13 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel wide angle camera, and a 2 megapixel macro camera, which also has AI, because of course it does. Yeah, it's a triple camera, outstanding in details. I am excited to see if it actually does have 3 rear cameras or not. Moving on to the next picture, it says we've got the 8000 mAh long lasting battery, the 8000 mAh superpower, along with a 10 watt fast charge, ensuring a longer use and faster charge and helping you get rid of power anxiety. I'm thinking this will probably be about 3000 mAh hours, but hey, prove me wrong, could be more than that. It's got an 8mm ultra sleek design that's thin and light. The i15 Pro Max remains stylish while retaining a large battery. It is thin, 8mm, and weighs just 216 grams, which is about the right weight for a flagship device, and it still manages to cram an impressive 8000 mAh battery. We don't want to sacrifice lightness and portability. Did that make sense? They've put an 8000 mAh battery in this, but they don't want to sacrifice lightness and portability, but then they're advertising that it's portable and light and okay, moving on. 13 megapixel high definition camera, restored true colors. Why is there 2 dynamic islands? I have no idea. That's all of the listing. Did you all enjoy that? That was confusing as confusing can be. Let's unbox this thing. Is it gonna be something good? Probably not. I did try and look through this hole, and I know that we've got a black box with shrink wrap on it. Without further ado, let's crack into this thing. Let's have a look at the VERYHDSN JDLE8. It's definitely a welcome box, isn't it? Oh, hello. Well, we have stickers on it. Not that that's actually from Welcome themselves, though. And then we have the HD voice will only be available, blah, blah, blah. The usual stuff. So a very welcome-looking box at this point in time. And it just says quad camera on the front. All right, go on. Let's take a look at this thing. Oh, there it is. Shrouded in mystery. It does have some weight to it. But inside the box, we get a... oh my god, a very light power adapter, capable of 5 volt 1 amp. Let's see what's inside of it. Ow. Ow. Does this look safe? Take a look at it. Now have a look underneath it. Does that look safe? It probably doesn't look safe at all. Definitely wouldn't have plugged that in. Oh, 3 capacitors as well if I need to pinch capacitors. We also get a pair of earphones, which are Type-C, and they're the usual terrible earbuds. Got a Type-C to Type-A USB cable, SIM eject tool, and we also get a case, which probably fits the real iPhone 15 Pro Max. Maybe it doesn't. Well, it doesn't have a button there, so probably not. We also get a screen protector and the mobile manual, which says that it can do probably not a whole lot. These instructions serve no use whatsoever. Why do they keep including them? I have no idea. So let's put all our goodies back in here and have a first look at this thing. Well, it's a about as generic can be. We've got a shiny chrome frame on here. Ooh, we've got a Type-C USB port, speaker grill, hole for a microphone, and then at the side, power button and the volume rocker, reset switch just in there as well. At the top, not a whole lot going on there, and at the side we just have the SIM card tray just there, which is a different color from the frame. The frame is plastic, and going to the back of the phone, we have two decorative cameras on here. We've got both IMEIs listed, so feel free to look these up if you wanted to, see what they correspond with, but we do have the warning just there, which is all the usual stuff we've been over. Why did they include a little protector over that when it's all fake? Taking that off reveals the back that's a whole lot of nothing. Also, I don't think it's 8mm. It's close. Kind of. Glass back. Interesting. And taking the front screen protector off. There it is. You can see just at the top there that we do have a dynamic island that's just underneath the glass there. We do have an earpiece, the front camera, and we've got some bezels going on. Not that you can see them at this point in time. So far at the moment, it's looking fairly average. No ultra-wide camera, no macro camera on this. That's sad. Let's keep investigating then and take the SIM tray out. Does it even come out? Oh, Jesus. Uh-oh. There you come, buddy. Oh, he's stuck in there. Yeah, just casually using a razor blade to rip out the SIM tray. We have support for 2 nano SIM cards and a micro SD card, so I'll populate them with a Telstra one and my non-spooky micro SD card, which is SIM 1 and which is SIM 2. I assume that this is SIM 1. We'll put the case on as well, just to see how it looks. Does it look like an iPhone? Kind of. That kind of looks like it. The flat edges kind of look like it. Type-C port, that's about it. So I bet you're wondering, SMOOREZ, what about the i14 Pro Max that you reviewed last year? Isn't that exactly the same as this thing? It actually isn't, surprisingly. The previous one is actually slightly bigger than the new one. The camera bump is different. I mean, it looks the same, but the details with the decorative cameras are different. The back and battery come off the i14, whereas the i15 is all sealed together. And since I destroyed the display on the i14, you're probably thinking, maybe I could borrow the screen off this one and put it on there. Nope, they're incompatible. The dynamic island is slightly bigger on there and more noticeable than it is on there. You can barely see it, but it's there. And this has bigger bezels than this does. How much does this thing weigh? In the listing it said like 218 grams or something? Let's see. 198 grams. Close enough, I guess. Let's power this wonderful thing on and see what it can do. If it has battery. Enter welcome. It's the usual welcome. Boot audio 3. Ah, the LG one. Okay. See the dynamic island? The bezel's there as well. Looking, good. Oh, yep, definitely an iPhone. 100%. Oh, did you see that? It has a little doohickey thing around there. Wow, look at that. Oh, it's slow. Oh, it's trying to be an iPhone, though. Trying. 5G's at the top there as well, by the way, which is good. And the little unlock icon, I like that. Fucking Jesus Christ. That was loud. I was about to say, I'll put the system files in the description below if I can extract them, and you can go through them and see what's inside of this thing. Let's scroll down. That's Android 8, isn't it? That's looking Android 8. All the usual shortcuts here. We'll test the torch real quickly. I mean, you know, if you wanted to spy on a couple of... Shh. Calm down, buddy. I was about to say, if you wanted to spy on a group of ants walking along the ground, you probably could. Look, it's not too bad, but we'll see how it goes during the camera test. Hotspot, data saver, dark theme, storage, invert colors, and night light. That's about it. Definitely no 120 Hz there, but it seems to be responsive enough just going through the menu. Going to settings though, it looks like that. Network and internet, we have Wi-Fi. 5 GHz network has popped up. Standard Gboard. It's a little laggy. Okay, it can't connect to Wi-Fi. That's super strange. Did the keyboard just change? Connected to my 2.4 GHz network. If we come to mobile network, says use 4G calling. Preferred network type, 5G. I would say this does have 4G with VoLTE. So let me give this a quick call and see what the default ringtone is. Let's see how loud the speaker is as well. Well, I mean, it scared me twice. Nope, doesn't have dual speakers. It definitely has VoLTE. Yep, it says it there. I'll splice in the call quality test for this thing, and you can all have a listen to how the VERYHDSN JDLE8 sounds. Testing the earpiece quality on the VERYHDSN JDLE8 smartphone.
This is what it sounds like on Telstra with VERYHDSN, and it sounds fairly average for the most part. Like it's kind of loud, it's kind of clear, but otherwise there's not much else to really say about this. It's just fairly standard, acceptable, it works. And the microphone of this thing sounds a little something like this. Once again, it's just very average, nothing too exciting here. Sounds alright. Sounds fair for a $100 phone, so let's move on, I guess.
Also, the configuration for the SIM cards. SIM 1 will work with 4G and via LTE. SIM 2 works at 3G or 2G, but since that's pretty much non-existent here in Australia, I can't use that dual SIM functionality, and I pretty much wouldn't want to anyways. Moving on, do we have NFC or anything? We don't have NFC, but it's visible as the i15 Pro Max to other devices there. Apps and notifications, we may as well quickly scroll through this to see if there's any hidden stuff in the system files. And straight away I say Android Q, which Android Q is Android 10. Android setup, which didn't come up, it just booted straight into it all set up. Scrolling along, calculator, calendar, camera, carrier, default app, Chrome, circular, listed 5 times. Oh, hang on. Could there be boot animation stuff here? No, not at the moment. Framework stuff, config updater, maybe that could be, debug logger, digital wellbeing, double cutout, EM camera, emergency information, factory test, factory aging test, filled 5 times, FM radio, fuse location, Gboard, gestural navigation bar. I wonder if it has navigations, that'd be cool. Google Go is on here though. We've got green. Just go green, okay. MDM config, MMS service, pack processor, print spooler, purple. Oh, we got green, we got purple. What else have we got? We got quick step, that's the launcher. Rounded, listed 4 times there. Rounded rectangle, this is very confusing. I don't know what half of these things actually do, like a squircle. Okay, there's switch app and there's system info there. That's what we're looking for, and it definitely has some, but it seems like it's Android 10, which is... Have I had a welcome that has Android 10? I don't think I have. Moving on to battery. It says 96% should last until 8:30 PM. It's 5:30 PM now, so you're saying that this can only last 3 hours. Hands up. Anyone think that this is a 3000 milliamp hour battery in this? Well, it's dropped, what, 4% in the last 10 minutes that I've been having a look at this thing. I'm not going to do a battery test on this. It's just easier if I tear it apart and have a look at the battery inside of it. We can test fast charging though. I don't think it'll have fast charging. It'll be 5 volt at 1 amps likely, if it even comes up. Oh, it does. All right, let's see. It's charging at 10 watts. It actually does have 10 watt fast charging. I mean, that's the bare minimum basically, but hey, that's better than nothing. Hey, it's S'MOOREZ from the future. I'm filming this bit after I filmed majority of the review already, but I wanted to show you all the dynamic island and what it can do. And you just see me do the charging test on this. Well, the dynamic island does this. Ready for something real exciting? Here we go. Wow. Isn't that just amazing? Now you're probably wondering, okay S'MOOREZ, if it does that, then surely when you ring this, the dynamic island will do something. Nope, doesn't do anything. See? The dynamic island actually doesn't do anything else apart from coming up with that little charging thing, and if you go into the camera and you flip the camera, you have that little light that goes around there. But that's pretty much it. I have tried several different things to see if I could trigger any other functions for the dynamic island. And speaking of this dynamic island, the notch is both hardware and software. So hardware wise, it's underneath the glass permanently. But if you do take screenshots and also checking the boot animation, which I've been able to dump some of the system files from this, you'll see this. You'll always see the dynamic island, no matter what. It's just always there. But of course, this is just decoration more than anything else. It's got to look like an iPhone somehow. Display, we have brightness level, which for this display is reasonable enough. It will do. Check the wallpapers real quickly, which stolen off iPhone, stolen off iPhone, stolen off iPhone, stolen off iPhone. Yep, they're all stolen off iPhone. I mean, it's an i15 Pro Max. We've got to have iPhone wallpapers on here. I'll just stick with that. Then we also have this refresh rate, 120 Hertz. But I can't do anything about that though. Interesting to actually see that they've put this on a welcome device to give you the illusion that you've got a 120 Hz display. You definitely don't though. It's 60 Hz, I can tell you that. But nonetheless, it is very interesting to see that's finally on a welcome device. Speaking of the display though, I'll say it's a pretty average display. Fairly standard looking LCD. And you can see the dynamic island just there, which is just a black blob underneath the screen there. It's probably a 720p display at best on this. In sounds, we have all the usual stuff. Do we have best loudness? Yes, we do. Best loudness. Storage says 1 GB used of 64 gigabytes. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. I don't think it'll be 64 gig. Privacy, location, security. We can do a face unlock. Oh, yep, enroll face. Let's do a pattern this time around. I haven't done a pattern in a while. It's nice and secure. I actually just had a look at the i14 Pro Max video I did last year, and I actually set a pattern on that. I don't remember doing so, but I did. Alright, start enroll. How quickly is this going to be? And you'll be able to see how sick I look. No face detected. That's nice. Thank you. He gave up in the end. Let me just try that again. That's done. Now we can do fingerprint. This looks a bit different. Locate the fingerprint sensor on the front of your phone. There it is right there. Alright, so we'll do it with one finger. Then we'll do it with another finger. Then we'll do it with another finger. Then we'll do it with another. We'll just basically just smush and... yeah, there we go. Oh, good. Fantastic. Wonderful. Great. Good. See? I added my fingerprint. So now all you gotta do is just look at the phone. It unlocks. And then just give it a nice big old... Wait, where's the fingerprint? Wait, the fingerprint hasn't come up. Where's the fingerprint? The fingerprint is added, but it's not popping up. Maybe you can't have face unlock and fingerprint. Let's get rid of face unlock then. See if it pops up now. Okay. Never mind. Moving on then. Accounts. I guess I'll go ahead and add my Gmail onto this so we can go to the Play Store and download some apps. It's also getting slightly warm at the top of the phone. Nothing too concerning at the moment. Oh, my chest hurts. We're signing in. We're signing in. We are signed in. That looks like Android 10. I think this might be Android 10. In accessibility, just the usual options listed here, like talkback, an accessibility menu, switch access, all that stuff. Digital wellbeing and parental controls, don't need to go into. Google Duraspeed looks a little something like this. I never use it. Then we got system, gestures. Ah, no navigation stuff. I wish we could have used... Ah! What does it have to keep yelling at me for? Oh, did you see that lag then? Oof. Yeah, it would have been good to have navigation, but obviously we're not going to have it. And about phone, we have i15 Pro Max there with the SIM card in the second slot. My mistake there. 3 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage, MT6737 deca-core. Yes. Resolution, 2520 by 3088. IMEI's both there. Android 12. Let's see what it comes up as. Oh. That looks so janky, but okay. This is not the Android 12 Easter egg. It's the Android 10 Easter egg, but they've got rid of the 0 and replaced it with 2. Yes. I wonder if I could still trigger it, actually. Hang on. Let's see. I did it. It's still... Yep, because this is absolutely legit, 100%. Android 10 Easter egg. So it's running Android 10. But I love that though, how they've replaced the 0 with a 2. Anyways, the security patch level is 2020. Google Play System Update is also 2020. Baseband version, kernel version, and build number. May as well put developer options on. Why not? Okay. I'm in developer options, and I can't seem to find where it says screen refresh rate. Should be in display, but there's nothing there, unless it's in game driver? No? I just gave it a new cutout. Let's do double cutout. I want to see what it looks like. Oh god. Yep, that looks good. What about tall cutout? Let's just device default. Have it back to silly dynamic island. So at this point in time, it's a fairly average Welcome device. Pretty much exactly what I've seen before, but it's running Android 10, which I'm trying to remember if I've had Android 10 on a Welcome device before. I can't remember. If I have, feel free to let me know. But otherwise, it's all looking fairly average. If I touch and hold on the main screen, I can do Wallpapers, which... it's, oh my god, look how laggy that is. So I'm really wondering if this will actually have an MT6737 in it or something else. But I think we should go ahead and start testing this thing out properly and going through the apps that are installed, which all of the icons are stolen off an iPhone, including the Play Store, which is clearly the App Store icon. But let's open camera though. Oh, that is basic. What can we do on this thing? Can we even film in 720p? Well, we have 13 megapixels. That's good. Very bare bones. Jelly movement? Oh, looks pretty terrible. 720p. We can do full HD. Amazing. Okay, good stuff. What about the front camera? That looks pretty average. Probably 640. Yep, 640. No, you can do 720p. We have HDR on the front camera and on the rear camera. Oh, Rubik's Cube technology. What did I do? Autofocus works. Let me go ahead and test out this i15 Pro Max and see the picture quality from this device. I'm not expecting too much, but we'll be back in a bit. We'll go over the picture quality and see if it's any good, and then keep testing this device out and see what else it can do. I just realized something silly with this. Look at the bottom. Do you see anything? See the case? It's supposed to be a headphone jack there, but there's no headphone jack, so it's just decoration. I thought it was funny. Testing the VERYHDSN JDLE8 smartphone outside in the daytime with my hacked away garden. As I say during the nighttime video, I basically told my gardener to hack everything away, and that's what he did. So this is what the quality looks like on the back camera. It can autofocus, and everything just looks very 2007, maybe? I mean, there is detail, but it definitely doesn't have any EIS, that's for sure. At least autofocus works though, that's exciting, but if we just walk along, you can see that hasn't been done yet. This looks so sad, doesn't it? Poor lemon tree. You'll be back soon. There's the brick wall. There's these two idiots down here. How you doing? He's been moved, I think. Then we'll just go over to the lemons and say hello. Boop. Very, very sad. At least we have a couple of lemons. These ones are just holding on for dear life. Zenny just down there in a new pose. I didn't do this, my gardener did it. Maybe he's a fan of Alien, I don't know. There's the sky, which looks horrible. And then we have the faraway aircon, looking a little something like that with a 4x digital zoom, which, there you go. There it is. Can you see breeze air on it? It's shaky, because I'm shaking. Very, very average at best. Sad we didn't get the 2 megapixel macro and the 5 megapixel ultra wide. We just have this. Anyways, let's move on. There's Ripley. Whoop. Sorry, I scared you. Whoops. Would you like to flop again? Show everyone how you flop. There you go. Does the quality look good? I don't think it looks that good, to be fairly honest. It looks very washed out. Maybe you can see quality? Can we see quality, Rip? No, we can't. Okay. Testing nighttime quality with the LED flash on the VERYHDSN JDLE8 i15 Pro Max thing. God, that's a long name. And this is what it looks like. It autofocused, which is good. It looks very muted and washed out, and the LED is not too bright, but it's something at least. I've had my garden completely hacked away, so I have no flowers or anything. It's just completely empty. So you just have to go along and kind of just look at nothing, still nothing, until we get to the hacked lemon tree. Yeah, it was too big, so I just said, yeah, hack it away. Leave some lemons, you know, we're gonna have some of these fellas dangling there. And then we have Zenny rocking down there, which looks a little something like that. That's what nighttime looks like. The LED flash isn't too bright, and the quality looks a bit meh. So let's move on. How does video look on the front camera? Oh god, my voice is already going. I'm still sick. It has jelly movement, for sure, 100%. No autofocus, it's just fixed. But at least I look better if I move it around like this. This might trigger motion sickness if you have this on full screen. I'm sorry. The resolution that you're watching this in, it should be 720p. I know the pictures are only 2 megapixels, which is exciting, but yeah, that's pretty much it about this thing. It's fairly average, isn't it? We're back. You've just seen all the photos and videos that I took with the VERYHDSN JDLE8 thing smartphone. I've already forgotten the model of it. What did you think of them? I thought they weren't too bad. The 8 megapixel camera, you know, that's what it looks like. It's not too bad. For what it is anyways, it's not too bad. HDR doesn't work for both the front camera and the rear camera. The shots look exactly the same, like here's standard on the left and HDR on the right. I don't see much of a difference there. And the front camera was fairly average. But did you notice something during the camera test? It wasn't 13 megapixels and 8 megapixels. It was 8 megapixels and 2 megapixels. So to take that into consideration, we've got an okay 8 megapixel camera on the back and a 2 megapixel camera on the front, which not much you can do. Video-wise for the front camera, fairly average as well, nothing too exciting, 720p. But the rear camera, full HD, no EIS, bit shaky, lacked in a few areas. But look, overall, camera performance was fine, I guess. I've seen a lot worse, put it that way. Now you've also probably noticed something else. I have navigation gestures. They aren't in the actual settings. I hooked this up to my PC, went into ADB, and put in a command that I found on a forum, and it enabled gestures. So now I have gestures to use to my heart's content if I wanted to. It's fairly slow, but it works. And to re-enable them, I just go through ADB and do the command and just enable the navigation bar again. But since I'm doing this part after I've done the review, you'll see me using this device with the navigation bar intact. But I only thought of gestures. When I was editing the video, I thought, I wonder if I could re-enable them because it's Android 10. I thought it was worth a shot, gave it a Google, and here we are. And also another thing, to confirm that it is Android 10, is if you scroll down, it says it right there. Android 10, but I believe that pops up when you enable developer options. Handy little thing to know, rather than have to go through several apps to try and find what OS this is actually running, but it is definitely Android 10 that's on this. Moving on, clock looks like a clock. Very slow, but it's getting there. Photos, you can see Google Photos and all the photos that I haven't taken as of yet. Contacts looks like Google Contacts, nothing to see there. Settings we've already been through. Sound recorder looks like a standard sound recorder from Android 4. Maps. See if it finds my location. No, because I turned location off. That's okay. That means they can't find me. Play Store. I'm curious to see if Genshin will come up. No. Definitely not run Genshin Impact on this thing. I think the best I'll get out of this is San Andreas. Calendar looks like a calendar. Google Calendar. Gmail is Gmail. FM radio. We need the Type-C headphones. Where have I put them? Let's plug these bad boys in. Alright, we'll just take the twisty tie off it, hang them up to the ceiling. 101.1 on a Thursday night. Yeah. Sounds good. Can't complain with that. Also, the sound quality of these things are about as good as you'd expect. So they can just go in the pile of the rest of the ones that I have from other Welcome devices that I'll never use. Anyways, moving on, we've got Files, which looks like Google Files. It's fairly stock for the most part, which is good. Sim Toolkit, Facebook, YouTube. Should we do the YouTube test now? I guess we should. Also, I'm watching that battery life drain. 8,000 milliamp hours. Yes. Oh, Costa Rica, right here. Go back to the start, go to settings, quality. 360p. Let's do 1080p 60 FPS, do into full screen mode, and see if it can handle it. Hasn't kicked in yet. Hasn't kicked in. It's kicked in. Hey! It's laggy. Of course it is. It looks nice. Someone has told me to enable stats for nerds, but it pops up and then goes away. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Okay, it can't handle 1080p YouTube, which is a bit concerning. Google Go, we don't have to open up. Calculator looks like a standard calculator. Ooh, yep, that's the Android 10 one. Face Unlock and Fingerprint we've already opened up. The phone dialer looks fairly standard. Is there any test modes? Okay, we've got a factory test mode using the Samsung test code. I guess we'll do a quick Safari test. It's just Chrome, don't worry. Has anyone actually Googled VERYHDSN JDLE8? Let's see if anyone's reviewed it yet, but there it is there. Drop shipping Copilot, whatever that is. AliExpress, GearBest, it's on as well. Some sort of Vietnamese site thing. Think I'm going to be the first person reviewing this thing. Oh god, they have security cameras too. Oh boy, I wouldn't try. Oh no, never mind. I'm not the first person reviewing a VERYHDSN product. Someone else has done it first. Well, let's go into just AliExpress just as an example, just to see how fast it is. It wasn't too bad actually. I say that, it took a little bit. I'd say with the expected specs in this thing, it'll be fine for, you know, rough browsing, but don't expect anything good out of this. I mean, it's still loading the description. The cell phone is new? Yes, it is. There is a review actually on the AliExpress listing. Someone took some photos of it and said, the photos are terrible. Yeah, just here. Oh, what does it say? Oh, look at that. Someone's shining a light on it. 2900 milliamp hours. What app is that, by the way? Oh, that's Ampere. Ampere? Ampere. Well, I know the battery capacity. I was close at 3000 milliamp hours. It remains to be seen until I tear it down. Messages we don't really need to go into, but music we can definitely go into because it's YouTube music. So this is BFG Division. Ah! Okay, BFG Division is going to sound a little something like this on this thing. Pretty average, but it's probably on par with most other Welcome devices that I've already reviewed on the channel before. It's nothing too exciting. We don't have dual speakers like it said in the listing. Of course we don't. Would have been good though. No point turning best loudness off and retesting it. I think you get a good idea of the speaker quality on this thing. So that's pretty much all of the default applications that are installed on this. So let me go ahead and install my own applications. We'll see what Geekbench has to say, device info hardware, CPU system info, bit of gaming, and some fun in QuickShortcutMaker. It's definitely the i14 Pro Max with an MT6739WA running Android 10. Run the benchmark then, and we'll see what score we get from this thing. I completely forgot that I have a legit, I'd say legit, very loosely, iPhone 15 Pro Max clone just here. It's full of fingerprints, but it has a dynamic island kind of thing. If you were to put them side by side though, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is smaller than this thing. Also, we need to check to see if this is 7 inches or not. I don't think it's a 7-inch screen. That's a lie. 6.4 inches if you're lucky. Yeah, this is a replica that I bought on AliExpress just as reference, but it's supposedly 1-to-1 with the real deal. I don't own a real deal, so I can't really tell you much else apart from the fact that it has the Apple logo, so it's legit. Geekbench just crashed. I guess I'll start the test again. It crashed again. Well, Geekbench doesn't run on it then. How much battery life did that drain doing that? And how long did that take, by the way? Far too long for me to remember. I just want to check the specs now. So, device info hardware, here we go. What have we got? All fake specs. 10 core, not correct. PowerVR Rogue G8100, that's correct though. i15 Pro Max, Android Q, and anything in here doesn't look like it. Screen says 120 Hz, but don't believe that though, because that's definitely misleading. Multi-touch, what have we got? 5-point multi-touch. Memory says 3 gig and then 64 gig. Camera, 13 megapixels and 8 megapixels. Battery says 8000 milliamp hours, which is definitely incorrect. Sensors, accelerometer, light and proximity. Okay, so not too helpful in there. CPU system info should tell us the correct specs. i14 Pro Max, MT6739, Android 10, no root access, system on chip, MT6739, quad-core processor with the PowerVR Rogue G8100, 64 gigs of internal storage, supposedly. RAM is supposedly 3 gigabytes. Screen is 9.5 inches, that's not quite correct. And the screen resolution says 720 by 1339. I have checked and it is 720 by 1600, which is about correct for a Welcome device of this size. The refresh rate though says 60 FPS. So there you go. I can probably change the refresh rate when I get to QuickShortcutMaker. Battery is 2,946,000 milliamp hours. That's always incorrect in this one. Thermal, 26 degrees and 27 degrees, which honestly, it hasn't gotten really, really hot. It's just stayed quite sort of lukewarm during the review. So it's holding up well enough. Sensors, accelerometer, and light sensor is actually legit. Oh, it's just using the camera. That's all it is. Unless it actually does have some sensors in there though. It probably does. And checking cameras in CPU system info, it shows the real resolutions of the cameras being 8 megapixels for the rear camera and 2 megapixels for the front camera. So not 13 and 8 as they said. Let's open our QuickShortcutMaker. See what we can do. EM camera. Should I just open this? Oh, that's auto calibration. You can't launch this activity. That's nice. Face unlock is by Elephant Tech. Kingsentine is the factory test, which should be, yep, that's correct. Factory test, 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 yep, all good. Factory test aging, which should be that really weird video that might pop up. Yes, there's switch up. There it is. Aha, there it is. Alright, so ROM, normal, we can change it to, or we can have 2 terabytes if we want. Should we have 2 terabytes? Yeah, let's 2 terabytes. RAM, we can have 32 gigs of RAM, that's fair. Switch signal, we can have 5G. I wonder when we're going to see 6G. Front camera, 800 watts, but you can change it to 10,000 watts, and the main camera you can change to 20,000 watts. The screen resolution you can change to 3000 by 4000, that's a bit of an odd one, but alright, cool. CPU, we can change it to a Qualcomm 8 Gen 2, or a Dimensity 910, or a Dimensity 888 Plus. Which makes complete sense, doesn't it? We'll just do Qualcomm 8 Gen 2. System version, Android 12. We can put it to Android 16? I'm sorry, but what? Are we in the future? Is it 2025 already? Okay, sure, welcome. Switch battery. Do you want to increase the battery capacity of your mobile phone today? Done. You've now got 10,000 milliamp hours. You know, you want to downsize it. Okay, 5,000 milliamp hours. It's probably going to be 3,000 milliamp hours, but let's put on 10,000. Screen refresh rate, 60 Hz, 120 Hz, and 144 Hz. I guess we'll just put it to 144. Switch screen size. You can increase the screen size. Watch carefully. Did you see the screen size increase? Might have to go back and watch that again. Manually change the model, i15 Pro Max. I guess that's all. So now if I come into settings and I go down to about phone, it will now say that we have the ridiculous specifications with Android 16. What does it look like? Yes, yes you are. Yes, yep, 100%. Cool. Alright, let's put it down to the real specs then. So we'll just do normal. Why would you want to switch the signal to 3G when this does have 4G? Strange, but okay. Front camera is 2 megapixels. The screen resolution I'll put back down. CPU I'll put to 6737, Android version 10. Switch battery I'll put it to 5000. Switch refresh rate, 60 Hz. Screen size, 7. Manually change the model. I guess it's appropriate to call it. That'll do. Alright, let's see what else we can do. System info, version of Android, model of phone, version of software, platform of hardware. That's pretty much everything there. The CPU is still a Deca core, so I can't change that, but the RAM and the ROM is correct. It's 64 gigs of storage and 3 gigs of RAM in this, which is higher end welcome. Apart from the Switch app, there's nothing else I can really do here. So this is a very boring welcome device. It offers nothing new over the previous generation that I reviewed last year, except I think the last year's model had an MT6580 in it, but once again, I don't remember. I completely forgot about the serial number on this thing. Do you want to know what it is? Have a real think. It's a really unique serial number. 0123456789ABCDF. I lied. It's not unique. It's still the same serial number that we've seen on about 99% of other welcome devices. Let me put San Andreas on this, and then I think I can give you a bit of a conclusion with this, and we'll tear it down and see what's inside of it. Alrighty, let's see how this runs. Not expecting too much out of this, but I might run at 12 frames a second. Alright, let's go. Speaker doesn't sound half bad at this point in time, but it is fairly average. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, no. I mean, it looks nice. It struggled with 1080p YouTube. And it's struggling with San Andreas. Even though the specs check out to be the MT6737, 3 gigs of RAM, and the PowerVR Rogue G8100, it's a pretty poor performer. I'll never make that jump. I'll never do that fully sick 360 there. I think this gives you a good idea with gaming. If I bump the settings down, it'll run better, but at least it looks nice. Just take a look at that. You can see the pixels. Overall for this thing though, it's not that impressive of a welcome device. The listing made it seem a bit more promising, and I thought we might have had some better features on this thing, but unfortunately it's just a very bare bones welcome that struggles with YouTube, gaming, and general functionality is just very limited in what it can do. The dynamic island does one thing, and that's it. I can't change the boot animation, and it doesn't have stereo speakers, and it's just, overall it's a letdown. But we were interested in seeing what this thing can do, and I think I've shown you all what it can do. A whole lot of nothing. And I couldn't even run Geekbench. You silly thing. And camera quality, well, you've got 8 megapixels there and 2 megapixels there. So I think that is it with the i15 Pro Max VERYHDSN JDLE8 thing from AliExpress. Let's go ahead and tear it down and see what's inside of this thing. Switch this thing off, which there's the power menu there, which is all correct, being Android 10. I just realized I could make a transparent welcome phone out of this thing. We should do that. Oh, that's kind of different-ish. I like the camera bump. The LiDAR is just a black blob. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to make a transparent welcome phone because we want to see the gorgeous innards, don't we? I'll take the camera bump off. Oh, graphite tape. That's something new. There's 2 decorative cameras on a piece of machined aluminium. Well, I've got a whole bunch of screws to take out, so I guess speedy screw montage. Alright, with all the screws removed, I should be able to just pop the frame off. Yep. Whoop, careful of the loudspeaker. Don't want to wreck that. And there is the plastic frame there with not a whole lot to look at. And the innards of this thing. I've definitely seen this motherboard on other Wacom phones. I just can't think of which ones I've seen them on, but you can also see a cutout for the front camera just there, because these frames are universal for these Wacom devices. They just cut out whatever they need to cut out, shove a board in, and problem solved. So we've got the speaker down the bottom there, which is just soldered onto the subboard. Type-C port, microphone, flex room in there, wire going up to the top motherboard. Not too much to look at there, so we'll focus on the top. The rear camera is this little fella, and there is a code there. If you want to look this up, but it's definitely an 8 megapixel camera with no optical image stabilization or electronic image stabilization. The LED flash is on its own little flex cable, just going wee plonk. Also, the graphite tape was some part of cooling for this, because I can see the chips underneath it, so I don't even have to take the shielding off. The sticker says 3+64 just up there, so that confirms it. Let's take the front camera off, and that's a little tiny guy just there. 2 megapixels just there. Doesn't do a whole lot. If you can kind of see that code, feel free to Google that if you want to. There's actually a light sensor. Oh my god, it's so adorable. Look at this thing. Oh, isn't that cute? It was just mounted just up there. That is adorable. We're gonna have to take this battery out too. There you come, buddy. There we go. The battery is... oh my god, I pulled the flex cable out. That's okay. I think it's still fine. It's still good. Yeah, that's still good. The battery is nothing. I have a feeling that this black plastic over the battery is likely hiding the information, but judging by the battery size, and from that screenshot I seen on AliExpress from the person using Ampere, I'm going to say 2900 milliamp hours would be about correct for this thing. Should be able to just lift it straight out. Yep, there we go. That is our motherboard just there. We do have a metal frame in this, which is kind of that rib cage design that I've called it, and you can see how chopped up the frame is for all the motherboards that they shove in these things. But taking a look at the motherboard itself, let's flip it over, and yeah, it's very, very basic. There's not a whole lot going on. The only cooling is, yeah, that graphite tape, which, if we kind of just ignore that graphite tape, we'll pretend it's not there. No, I may have to take the shielding off. It's like a scratchy ticket, or a lotto ticket, you know, just scratching it all off. Will I win my $5 or $10,000? Or I win nothing? Probably nothing. Yeah, so I can see the memory module, which looks a little something like that. If you can see with all the damage that I've done. It should be our 3 gig plus 64 gig. I guess I may as well take the shielding off. I just gotta find the best place to pop it off. Okay. Progress. Okay. That's the wrong area. And popping the other shielding off should reveal our CPU, which is the MediaTek MT6739V right there. So there we go. We've confirmed the specs in this thing. Well, at this point, I'm pretty satisfied that I know what's going on inside of this thing. So I'm going to put it back together, and I will commit to making a custom transparent welcome phone, because why not? Okay, well, everything's pretty much back in place at this point in time, so let me go ahead and just make sure it all works. Hopefully it does. If it does, I'll display all the specs to the side. There you go. So that is what is inside of our welcome i15 Pro Max VERYHDSN JDLE8 phone thing. Does it still make a sound with the speaker just casually dangling? It's fine. Yep, didn't kill it. That's good. Custom welcome phone time, yay! I figured I may as well make this a custom welcome because the video wasn't really that interesting. It's just more of a rehash of, you know, the previous year's model. It's just something different. I haven't done it before, so why not? So you're going to need a few things. Some cardboard, glass, and a heat gun, because you're going to need to blast the heat gun on very high to melt the back off. It's not as strong, so it should come off fairly easy, but we'll see how it goes. Okie dokie. I think I can already see it melting away. Yep. So it is coming off, but you can see it's a bit frosted, actually. So I'll need to use methylated spirits to clean that off, but we've still got a bit to go. Groovy. All I need to do now is clean the old adhesive off, which shouldn't be that difficult, but yeah, it might be a little difficult. I've got some really amazing glue remover. It's called Dissolve It. I'll just sort of show you what it does, but you just spray a bit on there, you let it soak for a little bit, and then the glue should just come straight off. There we go. It just dissolves the glue for you. At this point in time it looks super messy, but don't worry. Everything's under control, kind of. Highly recommend if you need to get glue off in sort of big areas, I'd recommend this stuff. It just eats at it. Alright, so now I just got to double check that all the glue is removed, and it should be pretty much all off at this point in time. So you got to give back glass a bit of a scrubber dub, just to make sure. Still a bit left over, but it's pretty much gone. So that would be all of the glue. I have made a slight mess on my desk, but that's okay. So now what I do is get the welcome device, and bam, look at that. I just realized that there's a little protector on that, didn't even know. Whoa, look at that. It ain't finished yet, so just using a baby wipe, just to go over everything, just to make sure that it's all pretty solid, and I think that is pretty solid. Now that looks pretty cool to maybe 3 people. I think it looks good. I think it adds charm to it. The fact that you can see the processes there as well, and like the stickers and everything. It's not perfect. I still got a lot to go, but for the most part, it's a transparent welcome device. It's never been done before. Has it never been done before? I don't know. Probably. Let's stick that on now. That's better. Took me a little bit to get all the old adhesive off, but that is the final product of making a transparent welcome phone. It's not the best one to do it on, but it looks cool. You have to let me know what you think of this, if you prefer the factory edition or the transparent edition. We should stick like a little sticker there that says big battery or something like that, or, you know, something there. But I'll have to do some adhesive around here, but I think you get the point. That's what that's gonna look like. I'm proud of that. Nice. Be funny if I opened up a dispute with AliExpress and show a photo of this. The seller would be like, what the fuck's going on here? Me and the Band-Aid bandits went to work on this thing. That's what happened. Yeah, that's looking at this iPhone 15 Pro Max clone from AliExpress. I hope you enjoyed looking at it. I know it wasn't that interesting, but I tried to make it interesting by making it transparent. I hope that worked in the end for you. But this latest installment in the iWish series would not have been possible without the generosity of you folks, because you folks donated on that live stream that I did to see this reviewed on the channel. So massive thank you to all of you folks displayed on screen. I really appreciate you all for donating your hard-earned money towards me looking at cheapo products on the channel. I'm really grateful that you all did that for me, and I'm forever grateful for all that you do for me. But that is the third item from that AliExpress lot that I've had a look at. There was the McTel L2 with the circle screen, the Steam Deck clone, and this. Once again, thank you all so much for that. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you've all enjoyed it. And if you're hearing me tell you all this, you've made it to the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching this one. I really, really do appreciate it, and I hope you've had a kick out of it. As I said, it wasn't an exciting welcome clone by any means. It hasn't given us anything new, but it was still fun having a look at it nonetheless. But you'll have to let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this, and if you liked the transparent look. I think the transparent look is pretty cool. Petition for jerry-rig everything and debrand to make a skin based on a welcome device for an actual iPhone 15 Pro Max. Because that's just hilarious. Anyways, folks, I am awfully sick at the moment. I'm sounding more and more horrible as time progresses, but hopefully I'll be over this soon. It's bronchitis combined with a flu. It's just a bit hectic for me, but I've soldiered on through this review, but I completely understand if you couldn't tolerate the way I sounded during the review and had to use timestamps. That's completely fine. That's why they're there. Alright folks, I'm going to leave it here for the latest installment in the iWish series. Thank you all so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. And as always, please take care, stay safe, be good people, and I'll see you all very soon, because I got some flippy things to review. I won't spoil it yet, but you'll see some flippy things if I am somehow still alive in the next couple of days. I'll be fine. Until the next time I see you all, keep being awesome, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.
If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.